You know that beautiful feeling when you're about to make a reasonable purchase at a store? Well, some customers wake up and choose chaos instead. From people who can smell invisible cats to someone who thinks the letter Q is optional, these are the most gloriously absurd customer complaints that made retail workers question reality itself. Buckle up, because you're about to witness the exact moment common sense left the building and never came back. 25. In Minneapolis in 2019, according to the Better Business Bureau complaint files, a customer at a furniture store spent 45 minutes arguing with a sales associate that the floor model couch was obviously used and demanded a discount, despite the associate explaining it had never left the showroom. The customer insisted they could smell the previous owner's cat and eventually called the manager, who had to physically show them the protective plastic still wrapped around the cushions underneath the display covers. The customer then asked if they could get a discount for emotional distress from the argument. 24. In Phoenix in 2021, according to mall security incident reports, a woman returned a Christmas sweater to a department store in July, claiming it didn't fit the holiday spirit she was expecting. When the cashier explained they couldn't accept returns after 6 months, the woman proceeded to put the sweater on over her sundress and model it throughout the store, asking random shoppers if they thought it screamed Christmas, while the manager desperately tried to process an exception return just to end the situation. 23. In Boston in 2018, according to Restaurant Association records, a diner at a seafood restaurant asked the waiter which fish on the menu was the least fishy tasting. After the waiter suggested the tilapia, the customer ordered it, ate the entire plate, then complained to the manager that it tasted too much like fish and demanded a refund because they don't really like seafood, but had come to the restaurant because their spouse wanted to eat there. 22. In Seattle in 2020, according to electronics retail chain Internal Memos, a customer brought back a laptop claiming it was defective because the keyboard has too many letters. The sales associate, confused, asked for clarification, and the customer explained they only needed about 15 letters for their work and felt overwhelmed by the alphabet situation. The manager attempted to explain that keyboards are standardized, but the customer insisted they'd seen typewriters with fewer keys and threatened to report the store for keyboard bloat. 21. In Miami in 2022, according to automotive dealership dispute logs, a customer test drove a sedan for 3 days under a 24-hour test drive program, then attempted to return it, claiming false advertising because they had counted and it was actually only 72 hours, not 24 hours 3 times. The sales manager spent an hour with a calendar and clock, trying to explain how days work before the customer finally admitted they just didn't like the cup holders but were too embarrassed to say that originally. 20. In Nashville in 2019, according to Retail Workers Union incident reports, a grocery store customer insisted on speaking to a manager because the bananas they purchased were pre-bruised by nature, and they wanted to know what the store planned to do about nature's quality control issues. The manager, maintaining composure, offered to exchange them for different bananas, but the customer said that wasn't good enough and demanded the store call the banana company to complain on their behalf. 19. In Portland in 2021, according to Food Cart Association newsletters, a customer at a taco truck asked if the carnitas were ethically sourced, and when the owner said yes, the customer asked to see the pig's biography. The owner, thinking they were joking, laughed, which prompted the customer to deliver a 20-minute lecture on animal consciousness, while the line of 15 people behind them slowly dispersed to other carts. 18. In Chicago in 2020, according to department store surveillance footage noted in loss prevention reports, a man tried on 17 different suits over the course of 4 hours, took selfies in each one, posted polls on social media asking his followers to vote, then didn't buy any of them because his followers chose a suit from a completely different store. When the exhausted sales associate asked if there was anything else they could help with, the customer asked if the store would price match his followers' preferred choice. 17. In Denver in 2018, according to sporting goods retail chain Training Materials, a customer returned a pair of hiking boots after 3 months, claiming they were defective because they got dirty on a hike. The manager examined them and confirmed they were simply muddy from actual hiking, but the customer insisted that quality boots shouldn't show evidence of use, and that they'd seen boots in movies that stayed pristine. The standoff ended when the customer's friend arrived and physically dragged them out of the store while apologizing profusely. 16. In Las Vegas in 2022, according to Hotel Concierge blog posts, a guest called the front desk at 3 a.m., demanding to speak to the manager about the moon being too bright and shining into the room. When the night manager explained they couldn't control the moon, the guest asked why the hotel advertised world-class service if they wouldn't even consider installing curtains. The manager had to explain that curtains were already installed in the room, at which point the guest went silent for 10 seconds and then hung up without another word. 15. In Austin in 2019, according to Bookstore Owners Association meeting minutes, a customer attempted to return a book they'd purchased 6 years ago because they finally got around to reading it and disagreed with the ending. When the clerk explained that was not grounds for a return and also pointed out the 6-year time lapse, the customer argued that the return policy sign didn't specifically mention a time limit for literary disappointment and threatened to leave a 1-star review that would destroy the independent bookstore. 14. In New York in 2021, according to coffee shop workers' social media posts that went viral, a customer ordered a coffee with milk, but not too much milk, but also not too little milk, and definitely not medium milk. And when the barista asked them to be more specific, the customer said, "You're the professional, you should know," and then rejected 4 different attempts before saying the 5th one was acceptable but not Instagram worthy and asking for a refund anyway. 13. In San Diego in 2020, according to pharmacy chain customer service logs, a customer insisted that their prescription was wrong because the pills are blue, but I'm more of a red person, energy-wise. The pharmacist explained that pill color is determined by the manufacturer and doesn't affect the medication's function. Yet, but the customer requested to speak to whoever is in charge of pill aesthetics and wouldn't leave until the manager called the insurance company to ask if they covered chromotherapy adjustments. 12. In Atlanta in 2018, according to home improvement store employee forums, a customer bought a lawnmower, used it for an entire summer, then returned it in September claiming it was seasonal merchandise and they shouldn't have to keep it during winter. When the returns desk explained that's not how lawnmowers work, the customer pointed to Halloween decorations being cleared out nearby and asked, "What's the difference?" The debate lasted so long that security footage shows 3 employees gathered around just watching the mental gymnastics unfold. 11. In Dallas in 2022, according to jewelry store insurance claims, a customer tried on an engagement ring, loved it, then asked if they could take it home on approval to see if their partner said yes before committing to the purchase. When the jeweler explained that would essentially be a free proposal prep, the customer seemed genuinely confused and asked, "But what if they say no, then I'm stuck with a ring?" As if the entire concept of engagement ring shopping had never occurred to them before that moment. 10. In San Francisco in 2019, according to tech store incident reports, a customer demanded a refund for a phone charging cable because it only works when it's plugged in, and they had assumed wireless charging meant the cable itself would be wireless. 3 different employees attempted to explain how electricity works before the manager just processed the return to end what was being described in the report as a conversation that was lowering everyone's IQ in real time. 9. In Philadelphia in 2021, according to pizza shop owner interviews in local food magazines, a customer called to complain that their delivery pizza was too round, and they preferred more of an oval situation. When the confused employee asked if there was anything actually wrong with the pizza, the customer said no, it tasted fine, but the aggressive circularity was throwing off the vibe of their dinner party. The owner personally delivered a new pizza and brought scissors, asking if the customer would like them to customize the shape, which finally made the customer realize how absurd they were being. 8. In Detroit in 2020, according to car wash franchise owner testimonials, a customer drove through an automatic car wash, then immediately came back complaining that their car was wet. When the attendant explained that was the result of washing a car with water, the customer insisted they thought modern technology would have solved the wetness problem by now, and demanded to speak to corporate about innovation failures in the car wash industry. 7. In Charlotte in 2018, according to gym membership dispute records, a member demanded a refund after 2 months because they didn't get muscles yet, despite staff confirming via security footage that they'd only visited the gym 3 times total and spent most of each visit taking selfies in front of equipment. When the manager explained that fitness requires consistent effort, the member accused the gym of false advertising because the promotional materials made it look easy. 6. In Indianapolis in 2022, according to optical shop customer service surveys, a customer tried on glasses for 90 minutes, narrowing it down to 2 frames, then asked if they could buy both and return whichever one got fewer compliments on social media over the next month. When the optician explained the return policy didn't work that way, the customer proposed that the store follow them on Instagram to verify the engagement metrics as if this was a completely reasonable business arrangement. 5. In Columbus in 2019, according to pet store manager blog entries, a customer purchased a goldfish, then returned 30 minutes later with the fish in a coffee cup, demanding a refund because it wouldn't play fetch and was therefore defective. When the teenage employee explained that fish don't play fetch, the customer insisted that the tank display showed fish doing tricks by swimming around, and if those fish could swim, their fish should be able to fetch. The manager gave them a refund just to protect the goldfish from whatever was happening in that household. 4. In Sacramento in 2021, according to Farmers Market Vendor Collective newsletters, a customer spent 15 minutes inspecting tomatoes, asking about their life stories, including where each specific tomato was positioned in the garden, and whether it had been happy during growth. When the farmer tried to move things along by suggesting they all had similar origins, the customer accused them of not caring about their produce's individual journeys, and loudly announced to other shoppers that this vendor treats tomatoes like objects. 3. In Baltimore in 2020, according to hardware store training video footage, a customer attempted to return a hammer after one use because it's not new anymore. When the clerk explained that tools are meant to be used and one use doesn't qualify for a return, the customer argued that everything loses value after first use, like cars, and they should receive at least a partial refund for the hammer's depreciation. The discussion eventually involved 3 employees and a calculator before the customer finally left, threatening to take this to Judge Judy. 2. In Milwaukee in 2018, according to bakery owner social media posts, a customer ordered a custom birthday cake with a photo printed on it, picked it up, then called an hour later demanding a refund because the photo makes me look fat. When the baker explained they had simply printed the exact photo the customer provided, the customer insisted the baker should have known to use Photoshop and that any good bakery would include complimentary photo retouching with cake orders. 1. In Tampa in 2022, according to movie theater manager Complaint Compilations, a customer demanded a refund after watching an entire 2-hour movie because they didn't like how it ended and felt they should only have to pay for the parts they enjoyed. When the manager explained that's not how movie tickets work, the customer proposed an itemized breakdown where they'd pay for the first act, get the second act free because it dragged, and the theater should refund them for the ending. Security eventually escorted them out while they were trying to calculate the per-minute cost of their ticket. And there you have it, folks. 5 magnificent examples of why retail workers deserve Nobel Peace Prizes just for not laughing in people's faces. Remember, when you walk into a store, basic physics still applies. Fish tastes like fish. Keyboards have all the letters. Days are 24 hours long. These aren't opinions, they're facts. So next time you're about to complain that your couch smells like a cat that doesn't exist, or that your pizza is too circular, maybe take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I about to become a Reddit story? If the answer is yes, just buy the thing or go home. The retail workers are begging you.